In May, I went down to Guyana to help monitor an election. And I had a very bad cold, and I left down there and came back to Emory so they could check me over. And in the process, they did a complete physical examination, and an MRI showed that there was a cancer or growth, a tumor on my liver. And they did a PET scan, and that kind of lights up a bad place, and it lit up. So they're pretty sure that there was a cancer before they operated on August the 3rd and removed it. The tumor was only about 2.5 cubic centimeters, where they removed about 85 cubic centimeters, which is about a tenth of my liver. And they did a biopsy and found that it was indeed cancer, and it was melanoma. And they had a very high suspicion then and now that the melanoma started somewhere else on my body and spread to the liver. The doctors tell me that about 98% of all the melanoma is skin cancer, and about 2% of the melanomas are internal. So then I came back up here after that, and they did a biopsy and found that they did an MRI and found that there were 4 spots of melanoma on my brain. They are fairly small spots, about 2 millimeters, if you can envision what a millimeter is. And I'll get my first radiation treatment for the melanoma in my brain this afternoon. And then I understand I'll have 4 treatments scheduled at 3-week intervals. I felt that it was confined to my liver, and that the operation had completely removed it, so I had quite relieved. And then that same afternoon, we had an MRI of my head and neck, and it showed up that it was already in 4 places in my brain. So I would say that night and the next day until I came back up to Emory, I just thought I had a few weeks left. But I was surprisingly at ease. You know, I've had a wonderful life. I've had thousands of friends, and I've had an exciting and adventurous and gratifying existence. So I was surprisingly at ease, much more so than my wife was. But now I feel, you know, that it's in the hands of God, whom I worship, and I'll be prepared for anything that comes.
Just wondering, you touched upon it a little bit. In your illustrious career, as you said, governor here, president, even as husband, father, grandfather, is there anything, or tell us, share with us what you're most proud of, and if there's anything you might have done differently or thought, maybe I wish I had not done that?
Well, the best thing I ever did was marrying Rosalind. That's the pinnacle of my life. And we've had 69 years together, still together. And so that's the best thing that happened to me. But I think getting involved in politics and going up, you know, as a state senator, then governor, and then president of the United States is obviously a glorious event. So, and we have a growing family. We have 22 grandchildren and great-grandchildren, 12 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren now, and they come in every year. So we have a good and harmonious family. And I would say the haven for our lives has been in Plains, Georgia. I plan to teach Sunday school this Sunday and every Sunday as long as I'm, you know, physically and mentally able in my little church. And we have hundreds of visitors who come to see the curiosity of a politician teaching the Bible. So, so I'll continue that. So I've just had a lot of blessings.
And anything you wish, I'm sorry, that you had not done or that you'd done differently?
I wish I had sent one more helicopter to get the hostages, and we would have rescued them, and I would have been reelected. But that may have interfered with the foundation of the Carter Center. And if I had to choose between 4 more years and the Carter Center, I think I would choose the Carter Center.
Thank you.
Could have been both.
President Carter, Donald